Hi, I'm Dave Roberts and this is Angling Escapades. Okay, right, the second part of our project today. This swim here, I'm going to try and get a hole in this willows down here, okay? This is an area I used to fish when I was young, and I know this hasn't been fished for a lot of years. The willow growth along here is so thick and dense, no one's been near it for years. But I know that there, down below here, there's a gravel bar, and I'm talking about years before the barbel were even prevalent in the river. So back then we wouldn't have caught barbel here, but I think now it's right for it, and that's why I want to get a swim in here. Now it's going to take a bit of work to get in there and get a decent swim in, so I don't want to be doing that just anywhere, and you know, there's no point in doing it in an area where you're not going to catch fish. But I'm confident through my previous knowledge of the river here that we've got a good chance of catching barbel here. So that's all well and good, but if you don't know a stretch, something that I'm using more and more these days is Google Maps and selecting the satellite version. And with that you can zoom right down on top of the river and you can literally see the weed. I mean, if you go in too close it just pixelates and it's not a clear picture. But you go in so far and you can see the contours of the river, you can see the weed, you can see the flow changes, fast water, slow water, and that gives you an indicator of what the sort of water to head for if you're going to do a fact-finding mission and do some swim clearing. So I know from previous experience that this has got a good chance and it's worth me cutting and swimming here. Now I'm going to make a hole in those willows, and that's, you know, quite labour intensive. But what I don't want is I don't want to create a lovely peg here where we can catch some fish only to come down one day and find someone else sat on it. Okay, this is a day ticket stretch, so anybody can come here and fish, and that's up to anyone. But I feel that if I'm going to put the effort in, that I should get the rewards. So I'm going to do it in a bit of a clandestine way. So before I go down to cut the peg out, I've got a bit of work to do down there. I'm not going to cut a route straight through this balsam and nettles and whatever and make it obvious that it's basically an arrow pointed toward, there's a peg here. Willow's great to work with. I can move willow around and I can sort of hide it and sort of tie it back and bring it back if I want to cover it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head down through these trees here, because obviously the undergrowth isn't so thick around under the trees, and I can find a little route down there that's not too obvious, so anybody walking past isn't going to instantly think, oh, there's a peg there, and I'm not going to turn up here with one of my guests and someone's fishing there. Okay, I do this on about 4 or 5 different stretches. It's an important part of my job and the service that we offer. We can't just keep going back to the same swims day after day with customers. Okay, we have to mix it up. Barbel simply won't take that sort of pressure, and we want our customers to come and have the day of their lives. So we keep mixing up. So I might fish this peg and then one day, and then we might rest it for a week, or, you know, if conditions change we might fish it again. But it's having that flexibility to go to different spots, different shoals of fish, and not be hammering the same spots all the time. And I say, being a little bit clandestine and secretive is a good thing. It's a good thing for our customers, because it means that we're doing our best, and we're making sure that the fishing's fresh each time. You're not sat on a peg that's been hammered the day before. So I'm going to now head down to where I want to do it, and I'll show you some of the work I'm going to be doing and how I'm going to do it. Okay, so we're down by the river now, and this is where I want to cut this peg in. You can see I've got a bit of a gap there. Okay, so I'm actually going to work above that and create the peg here. Now, a couple of considerations you've got to take. one, obviously I need to leave enough room for myself to be able to cast. I need to make it so as I can land fish. I've got a lot of willow growth below, and obviously that's going to create a problem if the fish decide to dive under those branches. But if I come high enough up with the peg, I'll be able to get myself around so as like any fish hooked, I can bring them up underneath the branches rather than through the branches. So that's what I'm looking for with the peg. I say I'm down here now, you can see, I'll turn you around, you can see I haven't made any great indentations through the balsam. Okay, so anybody walking down here doesn't see a big track or a trail leading to this peg. There's just, all I've done is a bit of a zigzaggy route up through those trees there, okay, and then down to the peg, so I can work away here. And obviously what I'll do down here is quite, you know, I'm going to make a bit of mess really, but hopefully I can sort of cover it up so it's not too obvious. Now, tools wise, you might think, oh, you need lots of specialist tools for this, saws and what have you. You don't. I've still got my trusty bank stick, okay, which is I can test in front of me, make sure I'm not stepping on something that's going to drop into the water. There's a reasonable depth here, I can tell, so I won't be able to get in the water, but I've got my waders on if I should go. I don't think it'll be over waist deep, but I'm going to try and avoid that. The only other tool I've got is just a little handsaw like that, okay. I buy these from the DIY shops or whatever. It's just a handy little tool, and that's all I need for this willow. Willow's so easy to work with. You can pull it back, you can bend it, you can tie it, and I don't want to create lots of damage, okay. All I want to do is make a space for us to fish. With that and that, I should have enough power to do it. So it'll take me a little while, but hopefully not too long. So let's see how it goes. So there you go then, about an hour and a half's work, and we've cleared a lovely swim in there now. It was tough going in places, I'm absolutely wrecked, but there was one central piece of willow that was going right out into the river that I couldn't move. I had to cut it off at the bow at the end, so it's probably a bit much work for the old hand knife, but we did it, and it's a job well done. And I say that peg now, having been stood down in the water as well and realising how much depth is under our feet here, I think it's going to be a great peg. I think it'll really come into its own when there's a bit of water on, you know, fishing under your feet here, running up onto that gravel bar. But I think it'll give us early sport on low water as well. I'm really excited about this peg. You can see as well, you know, there's no obvious signs that it's there. Yes, there's a few gaps in the trees now, but you'd have to be pretty eagle-eyed to notice that I've cut those down. There's no tracks down to it. I've come through the trees. So, and this time of year, everything's growing up so fast anyway. Another couple of days and it'll be another foot higher, this balsam, and you won't even know it's there. So I say, hopefully we'll keep it to ourselves, and if you're booked in for a day with us, there's a good chance you might end up on this peg. But it's not just this peg, we do it on lots of other stretches. It's what we have to do to keep our fishing fresh, to make sure our guests are getting the very best chance of having their dream day. But so I think I've earned myself a pint now, so I'm going to go and get cleaned up and have a little rest and a bit of relax. But I have to say, I can't wait for June the 16th now. It's looking good. See you again.